see. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Okay.
So here we are. High Speaker Irish. Or is it just Irish now? He's fled from the Hall of Awakening into the Stonevault. He's probably running like a frightened mouse. Wee sleepy, cowering, timorous beastie.
Beastie. Like their accent. Oh, jeez, I ran the wrong way. But yes, as I always say during the beginning of streams, I appreciate followers, I appreciate views. The goal is just to have fun and be myself, and I'm just doing this for myself, but if I get a little community together, I will be happy with that too, because that's also the goal. But I know I think I already said this. If not, I don't know how talkative I'll be tonight because it's like almost midnight. So, other than that, my poor little son sort of lost a friend. I don't know. They might get back together, but there was some stuff going on at school that I know my son wasn't really a part of. Like he wasn't. I don't know. This kid lies a lot, and just I've said before, I didn't really like him and his attitude, and I didn't think he was a good influence on my son, but I never said that to his mother. I said that to my partner, and we both agreed that we weren't going to tell him he can't play with this friend because they've been best friends since they were 6 and they're 8 now. And he just lives 3 doors down, so I just was like, you know what, I don't really care for him and how he treats you and other people and how he acts is disrespect, but he's your friend, so you know what, you can make that choice, but just be mindful and don't get pulled into the things he does, and if he's doing something wrong, then just go the other way. And he's always been good for that stuff, but this kid punched a kid yesterday at school and broke his glasses and hurt the kid when the glasses broke, and Jasper ran and got the teacher, and he got suspended for half a day. Back in my day, that guy would be suspended for a week. I don't care if he's only in grade 3. And then Edna, my grandma, both my grandma's names actually. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But then my son was saying at the end of the day when I came and got him at school today that his friend was back at school today and he was grounded for the week. I was like, oh, I thought he would have got more of a longer suspension for what he did, but okay. And then I took him to jiu-jitsu and everything was fine, and that's all my son had said to me, and he would have told me more. If he gets in a fight with somebody, he tells me. He immediately tells me. He's just like, oh, this happened, and he's bummed about it, and he tells me what happened. So while he was at jiu-jitsu and I was sitting inside the car waiting for him, I get a text from his friend's mother saying she had to go pick her son up for the second time in a row today because he was fighting with another kid, and that her and his dad have decided that Jasper and him should not hang out or be friends for the time being because it seems like they just get in a lot of BS together and all this that and the other. When really I had said this months ago about him and how I didn't really like him. Like, to put this into context, I had to message her a couple months ago because my son was inside playing, gaming, and I knew where my son was, and Aiden had just, I didn't need to say anything, but his friend had just came to the door and asked if he could come out and play, and Jasper didn't want. Like, I was trying so hard not to say names. My son didn't want to go out and play right at that moment, so he stayed inside. And I happened to walk past our back window and I see him and a bunch of the other neighborhood kids, like my son's friend and a bunch of the other neighborhood kids, jumping on top of cars and smacking at the windows. One was already had broken windows, but like trying to break it more and just throwing stuff at it. Thankfully my car wasn't back there, but I was just like, what in the... So I told his mom, who in turn got his dad, who was visiting, to go out there and made him clean up like broken glasses on the ground and stuff. And it was just like, my son would have came and ran and got me because he's done this before when Aiden did something he didn't like when he was being mean to a kid outside and yelling at the kid at the park. my son came instantly inside, and I'm like, what's wrong, buddy? Oh, Aiden's being mean to another kid and yelling and screaming, and I just didn't want to be involved, so I came inside. But he always took to heart what me and his dad had said, like, if Aiden's... Oh, God, I can't not say names. If his friend was not being respectful or not, you know, treating people the way that he should be, my son just took himself out of the situation because he didn't want to be involved. Because he didn't want to be around that. Didn't mean he didn't want to be his friend, but he just didn't want to be around that at the time. So fast forward to now, because that was just a couple incidents that I've had with his friend, and like even when Jasper would tell, my God, I'm just gonna keep using names. Even when Jasper would tell him like, no, I don't want to play with you. Like I don't want to today. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to sit in my house and just chill. You could hear him on the step getting mad at my son, like, I won't be your friend anymore if you don't come outside, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was so rude and mean, and I really didn't like the way this kid acted. But I said, as I said before, you know what, if this is your choice, if you've been friends with him for a long time, and there are good sides, because as Jasper said today, he said a couple things, but one of the things he said was, I'm friends with Aiden because he gets me, he understands the things that I want to do and and like our little made up games. They watch a lot of YouTube, but like, you know, I get that. I totally feel for him, and it's like now he's all upset and he says he feels sad inside because he feels like he's lost a friend, but at the same time he's also hurt that this friend lied to his mom, and this is the part that I guess I've left out so far. So the gist of the story today was she texted me and pretty much blamed my son for her son's behavior, which I know is not true. I know the kind of kid I am raising, and I'm not raising him to be like that. I've just given you a handful of examples from the past 2 years of them being friends, and it's always been Aiden is the aggressor and Aiden is the one that kind of eggs things on, and I have no problem with that as long as my son knows to like when to walk away and when to, you know, not be involved, and he has so far. So yesterday with his friend Aiden breaking the kids' glasses, I live right beside the school, so I've stopped by at lunch and I see him playing with him and his friend playing with a group of like 5-6 boys. And they kind of wrestle. They play fight. They don't like punch each other and stuff, but they're just like wrestling, and they're talking about their made up fantasy world. And they're like, oh, I have this superpower, and you know, and the teachers haven't come over and said, oh, knock it off, you're being too rough and stuff. It's never like that. And I guess yesterday Aiden took it a little too far and got mad at this kid and hurt him, like hauled off, punched him in the face, and broke his glasses, which he needs to see, and his glasses cut under his eye, and Jasper went and got the teacher. Teacher came over and Aiden was suspended. And I never heard anything from the teacher. I didn't have the teacher, which usually happens because Jasper's gotten hit before at school, and he had a problem with being bullied last year, not as much this year. But he's had some issues and stuff, and when he has some issues, even if he's the aggressor, and because sometimes he hasn't been suspended, he got sent home for half a day because a kid hit him in the face. But they've always told me. They've always either called me or told me at the end of the day, his teacher or the office has. And I never got anything yesterday with them saying anything, and nor did I get anything today of them saying anything, but I did have my son say Aiden was back at school, but he's grounded. So when I get this text message of her kind of like, oh, well, me and his dad feel like they should just not be friends for the time being because when they get together, all this BS happens and they're just bad influences. And it's like, she said bad influences on each other or something like that. And it's like, no, your son's a bad influence in general. Your son is very disrespectful to you and to everybody else around. But I didn't say that because I'm not going to be rude and say that. So I did stand up for my son, though. I did say something to the after, and she never answered me. So I was pissed, to say the least. I was really mad because I trust my son and I love my son, and I know he's hurt by this because he's his friend, his best friend. But now they're supposed to stay away from each other, all because of this kid's mom. It's like I could have said this months ago when I was seeing how your son was acting and how he's been acting throughout this whole, friendship, but I let my son decide, and he comes to me when there's problems, and when he doesn't like your son's behavior, I've always let him decide his own friendships. But for you to say that it was, I know she said they just get into trouble together. That's how little boys are. Your son kind of eggs that on, and my son usually walks away when stuff happens, or goes and helps this kid and runs to the teacher and tells. So it's like, anyway, she ended up also saying in the same text message that Aiden and Jasper got in a fight today, and Jasper hit Aiden, or Aiden said Jasper hit him in the face and started it. And I was like, oh, no, I know that didn't happen, because my son would have came to me and said that. So I did ask him when he got back from jiu-jitsu, and he actually said to me after we had this talk, like, Mom, you're the best mom ever, I love you so much, thank you for not getting mad at me, for hearing me out, for standing up for me, for wanting to hear my side. Like, me and my partner have always had an open door policy with our son. We want him to come and talk to us, we want him to feel safe to talk to us. That way we know what's going on, so we can help. And that's how it should be, because I didn't have that growing up. So he, when he got back in the car from jiu-jitsu, I asked him, and I wasn't yelling, I wasn't mean, I was just like, I just need to know the truth, you're not in trouble, I want to clear some things up, and I'd like to know some things that I have to ask you. And I said, did something happen with Aiden today at school? He's like, well, we got into an argument a little bit with, during first recess, but it was with words, nothing else happened. It wasn't. So, and I never even asked him if he had hit him at this point, so the fact that he said it was only with words, I was like, okay, he's telling the truth, and I'd know if he hit somebody, because the teachers would have said something to me, like, your son hit this kid, and blah blah blah. But he goes, oh, he was put on the wall today, but I don't think he ever told me why he's put on the wall. I don't know if it was because of the argument they had or whatever, but anyway, he was like, yeah, he was back at school, but anyway, I told him what happened and what Aiden's mom said, and we had a talk about it, a big talk about it. He said he felt sad inside. He asked me why. Oh my god, I forgot this thing pops out and smacks you. He asked me why I was asking him, and I said, well, Aiden said you guys got into a fight and you hit him first, and that's what he told his mom, and he was so hurt by that too, and that's the other part of it. He said, yes, he's upset and he hurts, he feels sad on the inside, but he's also I don't even know if I want to be friends with him anymore, and he's like, that hurts for me to say that, but I don't know if I can trust him anymore. He was really hurt that Aiden lied and told his mom that he hit him first and started the whole ordeal. And then I said to Jasper, I was like, okay, I just wanted to know, because I was just trying to see, Aiden's mom was saying
Look for another main cart.
I just wanted to
if
know.
It's here,
because I thought that you would have told, somebody would have told me. And he's like, well, no, that didn't happen. And it was during first recess. And then I said, well, apparently Aiden got sent home again today, and his mom had to go pick him up for fighting. And he's like, what? He got sent home? My son didn't even know that this kid got sent home. So Jasper's like, it had to have happened during second recess. I didn't really see him then, or it had to have happened after they went inside, because they're in the same grade, but they're not in the same class this year. So it's like, my son didn't even know that this kid got sent home. So, obviously nothing bad happened too bad for whatever to whatever. And then, yeah, so that's where we're at now. And I messaged her back after seeing this big, huge message from her saying all this stuff. And I was just like, I didn't swear or anything, and I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was like, neither Jasper or Jasper's teacher said anything to me about a fight happening today, and they've always told me. And I think that's all I said, because I didn't want to point out to her, oh, your son's an Instagram, blah, 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 kind of like she did to me. She never said anything back. And I babysat this kid for her, and said anytime she needs, he can come over, I'll watch him. you know, I've went out of my way to like try to help her when she needs it. And so for her to like turn around and like I was done. I was like, you know what? You don't have to be in my son's life. Your son doesn't have to be in my son's life. And you can see just how much of a bad influence he is for himself when he has no friends, the way that you're treating my son that wanted to be around your son. It's just, my partner told me not to take it personal, and they'd probably eventually start being friends again. It's just for the time being, but like, and even my son's just like, yeah, because like he lied about him and said he hit like his friend,
There
and
he is. Look at him.
I know they've gotten in fights
Beyond
before, but
saving.
nothing like
It seems like
horrible because
poetic
I've
justice,
watched them
but
out the park. So now
this finished.
he can't go out and play when Aiden's outside at the park in our own neighborhood when Aiden plays with all the same kids that he plays with. So now my son can't play with other people either because Aiden's around. Or at school when they have all the same friends. So it's just like, it's stupid is what it is. Because I see this ending very badly, and not for Aiden, for my son. He's gonna not have friends. All because of this kid's mom who doesn't think that my son's a good influence when her son's the one that's kind of more aggressive and instigating things. And I'm not being biased because I'm his mom. I have genuinely seen these situations happen for myself. I know how the kid is. The kid has been rude to me. So I mean, like, he's talked back to me and I've had to tell him off. And I caught him pushing a kid down in the park the one time this past summer, and I had to tell him, like, Aiden, I'm not your mom. And I have this on video because something else happened after, but like through our backyard camera. But I was like, Aiden, I'm not your mom, but I will go tell your mom how you're acting. So it's like, like, I watched out for your son. I tried my best to hold my mouth about how I felt about him. But if you're gonna like try to say my son's the instigator, or when they get together insinuating that when her son's around my son he acts bad, your son acts bad all by himself even without my son there, and I've seen it. So you you can just take that attitude, and I love my son, and that's, if he was doing something wrong, I would punish him. He's been grounded before. He knows that he's had his stuff taken away. Like, he knows the rules. He does something wrong, he's going to get punished for it. And I've never not trusted him, you know? And I know when there are times where he'll lie about stuff, like, and I know when he's lying, he'll smile. He can't stop smiling. And, like, I know my son. I know my son, I know his attitude, I know how he acts. And it's out of the two of them, it's not him. So, and that's not me being biased or because I'm his mom. That's me literally looking at the situation. I had a bad feeling about this kid probably from the first, like, maybe week or so of them being friends, but I just let it go. Didn't say anything to his mom, like, oh, I don't think your son should hang out with my son because he's rude and doesn't listen. But, you know, when your son starts beating kids up at school and getting in trouble, it's time to stop hanging out with my son because he's a bad influence. Yeah, go. All right. I see how it is. You keep thinking that. Well, that was a 20-minute rant that we went on a little bit long. It was a little bit heated, but again, I thought I was trying to find something to talk about, and look, I guess I found something to talk about. That was pretty much the only really big situation that happened today in my life, and I was not having it. I was having a good old time hanging out. Why does the void suck you? Actually, I don't even know why I bothered asking that question. I was gonna say, why does the void suck you in? Gee, I don't know. Probably because it's kind of like a black hole, which those black hole things kind of do. The thought process, I should have thought it through. What is with this? I'm not getting any loot off the bosses, like gear loot. Why is that? I haven't had any on any character today. Or yesterday, come to think of it.
The former High Speaker has been laid low. This is what justice feels like.
But yeah.
I can't wait to write about your discoveries. Well
never
done,
gonna
my
let
friends.
anyone put my son down or make him feel bad. I told my son, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna have good days after this. We're gonna You're gonna push through it. Because you know what? It's not you. Is that like a thing that happens? Or am I just not all here today? I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have all of them anyway at one point. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's happened today. That is it.